Good afternoon. Hope everybody's afternoon is going well. I finally got myself into the studio, and today's prompt for index card of the day was Detour, and I found two really good quotes. I love when a detour turns out to be a shortcut, so I had that typed up, and I have the one, you don't get from detour to destiny in a straight line. So as soon as I read that one and thought about it, I thought about curved lines and swirls, and of course I came to my segmented swirls stencil, which is one of my absolute favorites. So I'm definitely going to be putting that on. Now I'm gonna go with my original plan, which is to put some modeling paste on here, and I'm going to do that first and foremost. So I kind of I like these three spirals up there, and then this is kind of a flatter play, so that can be kind of in the center and kind of like that. So before I put the modeling paste down, what I'm going to do is just tape this down. It's just insurance, because you want the stencil to sit flat on, as flat as possible, so you get as clean a stencil or mark with the modeling paste as possible. So it's a couple extra seconds to do this, but I think it's worthwhile. So I'm going to get the modeling paste, and I just use Liquitex brand, and I ended up buying right off the bat when I started flexible modeling paste, and I like how it works. I've tried the light. I like this better. So I'm not sure, what the perfect applications are for either of those. They make them for different purposes and reasons, and so I just have that, and it's absolutely necessary that you wash off any modeling paste as soon as you can. So I'm going to give this a dry, and which I actually love how it's turned out. I think it's going to be some interesting effects on this card. So I'm just going to take this off, and I'll be back. So we're all dry, and I was going to use my dilutions paints, and then I decided, oh, maybe I'll use my Inktense blocks, and then I decided maybe I'm going to use my Lindy Starburst sprays. So a little indecision going on here. So you know what, I'm going to use my Lindy's, and what I pulled, I kind of want to stick to the warm tones. So I have kind of purpley pink golds here. So again, this is not something I'm great at using. I haven't perfected it for sure. So Now this color, I absolutely love Poinsettia Red Gold. It is to die for. So I'm kind of, come on, come on. Ah! Yeah. Ooh. And there, so we're just going to I'm not going to add water yet. Kind of want to keep that. Love how it's getting into the nooks and crannies here. Just going to sop up what I have kind of on the craft mat around. And then I have this Autumn Maple Crimson. So ooh, look at that, delicious. Whoa. This added some purple. This is Jazzing Jiving Purple. You know, those, I would never dream to put those colors together, but it is all sorts of lusciousness. Okay, so we're just going to clean up and let that dry. So we have all sorts of lusciousness happening here, and I spritzed it with the gold right after, just the plain gold, to put a little bit more gold in amongst the crevices, and it kind of gave this kind of misted look to it, which was unexpected. Now, since there's not quite enough shimmer here, I'm going to put more, and I'm going to just use my acrylics that I have. You don't need, and I have it in a gold, old gold in the Artist Loft brand, and then I have copper in the basics. And I just want to put it a little bit on the rim, on the edges, on the high points, I guess is what I'm trying to articulate here. Now, if you don't have two colors, two metallics, that's fine. You can, you know, use what you have. It can be craft paint, it can be, you know, Liquitex basics, it could be the golden if that's what you have, right? This isn't about buying more products. This is about using the products that you have. Now, if you want to add some good staples, you know, I can definitely recommend those, like this swirl stencil, which is, you know, is one of my favorites, and I know you've heard me say that before, but it is beyond the truth. I am in love with this. This is so luscious. It's just everything. Now, the edges, I think I'm going to put black on, and then I might go back in with the gold on top of that. And you've seen me, oops, seen me do that before. And this is how you put it back in the tube if you've squirted out way too much. Which I tend to do on a regular basis. So I'm just going to grab one of my felt applicators, and I'm just going to put the gold on, or the black on the edge. Now the black, I want to have a little bit of black on here because I do have black in the letters on the quote. One of the things I think that the ICAD is good for, you could use it to just create all sorts of different backgrounds, you know, use all the background techniques that you can and create some really interesting backgrounds. And then, you know, even just put on, you're not worrying so much about a focal point, but you know, just a quote, you know, or it could be a focal point, if that suits your fancy. Me, I'm kind of going the way of the quote some of the time here. So I'm really liking that. Could never duplicate that, you know, if I tried. So I'm not sure I want to put gold around the edges just yet. So I have my quote, which of course was within the spraying, right in the spray zone. So and now it's always interesting to I'd end up cutting this out or printing this off again if I don't like this, but somehow, you know, I'm doing a little cut, but I can never seem to cut it perfectly straight. It always seems to go at an angle. You don't get from you know, and I think that's it. You know, it's kind of the sentiment, and if I look at this, you know, I will be able to remember. Now, you could write down on the back what you've done, you know, kind of like we do in the technique tag videos. Do I have a tag here close by? Of course not. But on the backs of all the tags, I would write simply, you know, what the technique was and what I used, what the variations were, so you can remember. So you could do the same thing on the back of these ICADs, so you can remember. So it's kind of giving you that, a visual reference tool, so to speak. Or if you do videos, you have videos that you can just go back and watch and see what you did. Now I'm just going to get some gel medium and put that on. Now if you've used Starbursts or dilution sprays or any spray that's not an acrylic spray, remember it can reactivate here. Can you see that the tip, I don't know, it's already picked up the color. So you're going to have to be careful. Be aware of that. So I'm putting on a pretty thick dose of gel medium because I do not want to pick up too much color. Maybe I'm going to put it on, I'm going to try putting it on the back of this sentiment, the words. Now you could also spray it with a fixative. I use Spectrafix. It's fairly expensive, so I will save that for things that I might sell or canvases or something in a bigger application than an ICAD. But I think people say they've done hairspray. But I think that's more with, I don't know if that's so much with sprays. So I'm just gonna push that, oops, see I got all that all over me. And it's discolored my quote on here. And of course it's not treated. So you know what? I'm better off just leaving it alone. And accepting the fact that it's going to have some color in it because, and all these kind of were sprayed that, so since one's dirty, I'm just gonna make sure that all of them kind of are looking the same. And then nobody need to know that I goofed, right? Shh, mum's the word. Just everybody that watches the video. But a lot of crafting, a lot of art journaling and mixed media is all about, you know, doing what when something goes sideways on you. Now I'm thinking that I need something around those words. It just looks a little lacking for me. I could have probably edged it with the black acrylic paint, but I didn't. So, and because I don't want to activate this, I'm not going in with the Stabilo. Making sure this is dry and cool. I find the Micron pen doesn't like it if it's hot or warm. And I'm doing it very sketchy because I think that will fit the background. Yeah, and that instantly made it look much better in my mind. It definitely improved it. So, index card number 6, and we're done. Tomorrow's prompt is alliteration. So I found some quotes for that I think I'm gonna like, but time will tell tomorrow. Bye for now.